So, Kandi and the Gang. At first, I was not pressed to talk about Kandi and the Gang, but this is an entertaining show. I am entertained watching this show. I don't know why. I mean, I haven't really. Well, I won't say I don't want to know why, but I just was not pressed on talking about this show. But it has been entertaining. I feel like the characters are great. The episodes, well, we're only two episodes in, but I feel like the episodes have been great. And I'm enjoying this show. At first, when I heard that Kandi was doing the old lady gang show, I wasn't exactly jumping up to watch it. I haven't really jumped up to watch anything Kandi has done spinoff wise. I think the first thing that I watched was that she did. I think I watched a little bit of her wedding special, and then after that, she had, I think, the ski trip. I didn't watch that. What else did she have? She had the Candy Factory, which was terrible. Like, it was so bad. So when it got canceled, I was not surprised. And then now she has this show, and I think she finally got herself a hit with this show. Although I did hear that the ratings, when the show they premiered, the ratings were pretty underwhelming. I think they ranked 69. I don't even think they hit 1 million watchers, but I feel like the show would have brought in more ratings had it followed Housewives of Atlanta. So if it came on Sunday nights after that show, maybe even before Housewives, then it would get those spillover ratings. You know what I mean? But since it's standing on its own, this is what it's got. But the show is good. I do enjoy the show. Now, I'm not going to talk about the first episode. I'm behind. It just is what it is. I'm going to jump right into this second episode. And you got a lot going on. You got Brandon trying to date Dominique. Chandrika, she's not happy with her pay. You got Kandi's family being all over the place, per usual. You got Philip being an asshole, per usual. We're introduced to Brian. We're introduced to Torin. And I think that's the whole episode. I don't know. The show opened up with Patrick, who apparently is the parking lot manager, and I'm just like, why this restaurant got a parking lot manager? Like, I can't imagine ever having to go down to the Cheesecake Factory. What's that restaurant that I went to that I wasn't even checking for that restaurant because it was a seafood restaurant. Papado. I can't imagine going to any of those restaurants and we come across a fucking parking lot manager. If I ain't mistaken, I think they said Candy's restaurant, you got to pay $10 for parking. So if that's the case, I'm catching a lift, bitch. I ain't about to be fucking paying $10 because that $10 was what you tipped the server. Okay, you tipped the waiter, whatever the case may be. Excuse me. Then I gotta pay another $10 just to park. Oh no, I would be walking, or we'd be parking down the street on the fucking at the bando across the street, but we not be paying $10 to park here. Hell nah. So, he's Candy's little cousin. He is the grandson of Aunt Bertha, who, because I got it, I was a little confused at first. So it's Aunt Bertha, she's the mom. Then Nina is her daughter, and Weenie is the daughter of Nina, and Patrick is the son of Weenie. So that's how that little branch on the family tree goes. I was a little confused, but we're gonna get to Nina later. So anyway, yeah, it opened up with him, and he's talking about how his shirt, it said parking lot manifestation. I'm like, come on, that is some nigga shit. But, he's talking about how he eventually wants to take care of the family the same way that Kandi takes care of the family. I'm like, that's very noble. But, one thing she's doing is putting you niggas to work. She ain't just taking care of y'all. The shit ain't free. But introducing him was pretty cool. He lives with Melvin. Melvin is the chef manager. So I don't want to say some nepotism going on, but if you want to know what nepotism look like, it's to have your family in management positions. Although I feel as though the parking lot manager was just like a vanity position just to give her cousin something to do, just to say he had a fucking job. But his ass is in the kitchen talking to Melvin and stuff like that. And he like, I'm so glad we live together because you can cook for me every day. And he like, nah, I'm not cooking for you every day. You got a whole girlfriend. And he was like, yeah, but the both of y'all love me, so I'ma eat. That was funny. Then the show transitions to Brandon and Dominique, I think. I'm not gonna this may be all over the place. You know, it's hard for me to go in chronological order unless I note shit down. I may note shit down in the future just so my reviews can be a lot more concise, okay? But Brandon takes Dominique out on a restaurant, and one thing that I like about the two of them getting together is like she isn't what I expected that he would have been interested in. I feel like now with niggas, they like the girls who look like Chandrika. So it was refreshing to see that he's going for a girl who looks like Dominique. And my whole thing on the two of them messing around, I work somewhere where plenty of people started dating and got married. Like there's hella I almost told y'all where I work. But there's plenty of couples who were dating at my job who are now married to this day and are now, if they haven't welcomed children last year or in 2020, they're starting to welcome them now. So I don't really feel like a no fraternization policy is necessary. I just feel like the policy should be don't bring that shit to work. Don't bring that shit to work. Don't be having everybody in y'all business and don't be talking about y'all shit, you know, to your coworkers and then let it get back to each other. Keep all that mess at home or wherever the fuck y'all little relation. I mean, where it started at work, but leave that shit here. Once y'all here, y'all are coworkers. But that's how I feel because, like I said, I'll see people they don't necessarily work together, but at the end of the day, sometimes their shifts do overlap or intertwine, converge, whatever the case may be, and it's fine. Like I said, they're married. None of them. We don't have a manager who's actually married to an employee, but so I guess that is the conflict of interest with Brandon, but he ain't the main manager, okay? And we're gonna get to that zit later, the little hemorrhoid later. But watching them go on a date and he's like very, very interested in her, it was pretty refreshing because, like I said, I ain't expect him to be checking for her. I expect these dudes, the now niggas, to fucking be attracted to the light brights, the racially ambiguous, or, you know, just the mixed chicks. And he like, nah, I want somebody black with a hard K at the end. So I fuck with Brandon on that regard. So we meet Brian, and Brian is very fun. He's definitely the flamboyant gay character that every show needs. And I just wonder if they were never doing this show, would these people be coming back to the show? Because one thing I feel as though between him and Torian is that you can tell they're going to be very entertaining. So I'm just curious, like, did they want them back for this show or did they genuinely want them back? Because they don't really say when they left. All they say is they were there 4 years ago when it started. So it was like, well, what year did you leave? Did you leave 2018, 19, 20, 21? What year did you leave? How long have you been going is what I'm trying to figure out. Because why all of a sudden the interest in having them back at the restaurant? When Brian comes back, he tells us his battle with COVID. And here's the interesting thing to me is like he almost died, pretty much how he said, because he drank so fucking much. He probably lost the liver or a kidney. He ain't told us yet, but he almost died with COVID. And I'm looking at you in this restaurant and you ain't even got no mask on. If anything, I would have thought that would have been the thing to make you want to take this thing called COVID and social distancing seriously. But now he's all in people's faces, talking, serving their drinks and shit like that, maskless. I'm just like, well, hey, I guess being on a deathbed is not gonna make you take COVID any seriously than what is. And apparently he feels just like everybody else does in Atlanta and has been, because them niggas ain't never wore masks out there, okay? With that being said, but he seemed cool. He comes in and he meets Philip. He meets Uncle Phil. And Uncle Phil, of course, was stoic, very stone-faced. And Sarabi's back there pleasuring herself. She is back there pleasuring herself, y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Anyway, he meets Uncle Phil. And Uncle Phil immediately gives him that stone stoic face, like, yeah, I'm not having all that fluttery shit that you be doing. We're not doing none of that here. And Phil let him know, he was like, I heard that you said that you normally do the upstairs and downstairs at the same time. I'm gonna show you where you are. And Phil is just so fucking annoying. Like, he's a buzzkill, and it's like, dude, why do you feel like you have to do this in order to be a great manager? Anyway, he takes him downstairs. He shows him his area, and Brian was right. I mean, in addition to it looking like a funeral, that shit was ugly. Like that green, that plain green, and what was it? The white letters, and then well, no, something like that. That color scheme was fucking awful, and it looked fucking cheap. Like they could have done something else better than that. And I just feel like for Philip to be Brian focused, like bitch, we can talk, we can have a conversation, we can just be human. Like this is a human thing to do, and he's just like focus. Like, oh man, that's somebody I could not work for. I'm sorry, work under. If I worked under him, I would be going above him all the time because I just would not be doing it at all whatsoever. But he let him know. He was like, I just want to make sure your mental is where we're trying to go. And he's like, Brian's like, I don't know where my mental's going. It just goes. Like, I can't tell you where it's going. It could be going out the door. It could be going anywhere. It could be going down below in your pants. It could go anywhere. I don't know where it's going. I just go with it. So they get the gist of who's who and what they do. And, Brian pretty much acknowledged that, Uncle Phil is tight ass. He's an asshole. He's a tight asshole. That's what he is. But they get an understanding. Torin, he invites the girls over to the house. He was serving his hors d'oeuvres. And I'm like, this is some bougie shit. Like, what kind of nigga is Torin? I want to call him Torian so bad. What kind of nigga is Torin to be inviting people? Got fucking hors d'oeuvres on the table. Raw hors d'oeuvres. Like, she was like, who's trying to eat some cold broccoli? Got pepperoni. Like, you could have got all that from a little fruit trays they got at Sam's Club. Like, are you for real, Torin? Get that out of here. Why don't you have no damn... Give me some chicken chunks, some nuggets. Give me some... you could have gave me some... Kid just gave me chips in general, but that shit, come on now. You ain't got a front for the show. But one thing I will say about his place is that it was not... Him and Melvin's place. It was not giving me Airbnb like Uncle Phil's crib was giving me. Like, you could see the personal items in their houses. One thing that used to kill me, particularly on Love and Hip Hop, when they be like, oh yeah, this is my house, whatever the case may be. Ain't no decorations, no dishes in the sink, no paintings on the wall, no pictures, no nothing to indicate that somebody lives there at all. All you see is plain decorations. Everything looked like it came, like they just walked right into everything looked like it came right off the brochure, literally. I'm like, you want me to? You trying to convince me that you live here? No, you don't. And I understand because I remember Duchess was on she was on the Breakfast Club. Duchess from Black Ink Crew, and she was like, no, that was an Airbnb that production bought for me to stay there, just to do that scene. I'm like, now that's too much. That's too much fakage. But regardless, went off on a tangent. So he's talking to them, they being messy and shit, and he's asking Dom about who she's dating, and she don't want to tell nobody that she's dating Brandon, which I understand. And like she said, it's none of y'all business, and two, we don't even know what this is. We're just dating. But one thing, I'm like, the kind of things that Drika was doing, I'm like, Drika, are you a hater, or are you one of them fake friends, or you just don't realize what you're doing? Because she like, oh yeah, you was drunk. You don't even remember. Like, why are you bringing it up to this motherfucker who don't even know at all? Like, you gotta watch people like that because they be acting like your friends, but they be really trying to catch you up and expose you low key, or they try to get you to expose things about yourself. Excuse me, I wasn't feeling it. So, since we're on the topic of them hoes, they all end up going out to a restaurant to have drinks and shit. And Chandrika was complaining about her pay. Now, here's the thing. Because one thing that was kind of bothering me last episode is when Kandi and Todd was talking about people who work there don't have the same dedication or commitment that they would want them to have. And I'm like, Kandi, you are running a restaurant, not a corporate job, not a corporation, none of that stuff. You are just running a Southern eatery. You running the Krusty Krab, and you want people to act like they're working at the post office or some shit. Like, you want diligence and all that. And it's like, I understand you want them to do their job, but she like, oh yeah, they be having their other things going on. Yes, because they're working at a restaurant. Like like Chandrika said, the minimum wage didn't go up, and it's like I don't think restaurant people employees even get minimum wage. I think they get less than minimum wage because they're supposed to be making all their money from tips. Maybe it's different for the host, but if the minimum wage in the area did go up to minimum wage, and that includes hosts, I don't know why she's not at minimum wage. That's a valid criticism because I don't know if you tip hosts. With that being said, and Patrick down there, he fuming and shit like, "Ooh, I swear to God!" But it's like at the end of the day, you're just like, it's different. Talking shit and having valid criticisms are two different things. Not being happy with your pay is a valid criticism. Not being happy with the things that the restaurant does not have is a valid criticism. Not being happy with the way that shit is literally all over the place at the restaurant is a valid criticism. It's not about loyalty because at the end of the day, they work there. It is not their business. None of them are shareholders. They did not invest in this company at all, and that they're getting a return on. They're getting what they're getting from it. So I don't know why Kenny and Todd expect them to have this undying loyalty or this undying dedication to their business. They got other lives, and at the end of the day, this restaurant ain't paying them that much. Like, it's just not. Like, if you want people to have that kind of energy, then you need to hire people who absolutely love just being in the restaurant business. People who love serving, people who love being bartenders, people who love being hosts, people who love working in a restaurant. That's the people you hire. Not the people who like literally have goals and want to achieve them one day, because that's not a good fit. But Patrick's down there pissed. Chandrika once again was on her hater shit because she deliberately wanted Dominique and Brandon to sit next to each other. And it's like, again, here you go again. Like, what you doing, bitch? What you doing, bitch? What you doing? I don't know. It's looking a little haterish. It's looking a little fake. But, oh, and also, apparently, Brian and Torin used to fuck, and also Patrick and Chandrika used to fuck too. But, Chandrika's happy with her dude, and Patrick's happy with his woman, who he's been dating for, 36 months and 25 seconds. That was hilarious. Patrick seems funny to me. Really quick, I want to touch on Melvin and Todd. I feel like Todd is annoying because I don't know. I think he feels like everybody's supposed to get it out the mud because he had to get out the mud. We've seen this with the way he was treating Kayla, with how he felt like she needs to go work and do her own thing, and that he and Kandi shouldn't really be doing as much. It's like, you're supposed to want more for your kids. You're supposed to want them to do things that you didn't have to do, because what was the point of you going through them if they weren't supposed to reap the benefits of you going through it? If that was the case, you should never have children, you dumbass. And when he made that little comment about Kandi sending him to culinary school, it's like, so what? Even if, because Kandi was like, I didn't pay for everything. Even if you did, so what? Somebody was going to have to pay for that shit. And this is something for his future. He's something that he's great at, and something productive that he's doing. So I don't know what Todd, what difference does it make? See, he probably would have wanted Melvin to go to culinary school on his own and pay for it on his own. But it's like, why? Why would you want him to be in debt for however long, paying off them student loans, when he has a family who could have did that for him? I don't know. Todd's logic is just like dumb. It's really dumb. And normally, when people be going, I got valid criticism, but this ain't a Todd video. I just wasn't feeling that comment. What else happened? So Kandi and her family, because I want to make sure I get to the main event, because I love this fucking scene. So Kandi and her family, apparently Nina, who is Bertha's daughter. Nina is Winnie's mother, and Winnie is the mother of Patrick. I just explained that to y'all. I explained that branch on the family tree. But apparently some shit was going on. She quit the restaurant. She wanted the rest of the employees to quit also. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Neither was Aunt Nora. Aunt Nora ass wasn't there either. But I think, if that's true, it's weak as fuck, and she should have apologized and said, I was just angry because I felt like people didn't appreciate me, what I did. So I took it out. I tried to take it out in the restaurant. But I don't know. This is like one of them situations where you see how it gets muddy mixing family with business, but I think if Candy's going to do that, then Candy has to be more involved so she can actually see what's happening. And if she can't really see what's happening, she probably should not have her family be so involved in her restaurant. Like, it's one thing, but the old lady gang didn't even have nothing to do with it. So I don't know. But Aunt Nora wanted to get up and push Nina down the hill. They wasn't having it. Candy and Weenie got in the middle. They all made up. They all had chicken, which is pretty funny because literally they was about to slap each other. Now they open there eating chicken, and then Bertha said that shit was gonna be her breakfast in the morning. Now lastly, this scene, came right on time. I'm glad we didn't have to wait this long because here we are at the end of episode 2, and it's Torrin versus Philip. So, y'all know on the first episode, Kandi wanted Torrin to come back because he was a fly-ass event manager. So, she brought him back and he accepted it. So, I guess that chain of command didn't leak the information to each other, okay? They didn't spill the tea on who was coming back to the restaurant. But he came back, he talked to Don Juan, and Don Juan tells him to go set up. I wonder if Don Juan knew that Philip was going to be in there. I wonder. But regardless, Torrin goes in there, he speaks, say, hey, how's it going? Are you Philip? Yada, yada, yada. They exchange names. And, Philip asks Torrin to come have a seat. And Torrin's like, well, is this an official meet? Is this an official talk? And he's like, well, I'm not scheduling a talk. Like, we're just talking. So, Torrin is still like he's trying to get the measurements and all the stuff that he's supposed to be doing as an event manager. And then here, infraction number 1, Philip's like, when I talk to people, I want to talk to them face to face. He's doing something. And it's like, even then, that's a nitpicky ass thing to do. Like, we are talking. People talk and do things at the same time. But I feel like that was him trying to flex his position as director of operations. So Torrin has a seat and immediately rubs Torrin the wrong way when he says, this is the chain of command and you have this position as event manager, but your position is contingent upon me feeling like you're even able to do the job. And Torrin's like, hold up, bitch. Let's not get it twisted. I left. I was not fired. I left, so clearly I can do the job. They wanted me to keep doing the job, but they also wanted me to do other shit. And I said, nah, fuck that. I just left. It was unprofessional, but I just left. And he's like, oh, unprofessional? Like the way you came in here wasn't professional? I'm just like, came in here like what? He didn't come up in there knocking shit over, being loud, but blasting his music, none of that stuff. He literally came in there and said, hey, how's it going? Are you Philip? I'm Torrin. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, what the fuck was so unprofessional about that? And he's like, I didn't expect nobody to be in here, so I came in here and just got to work. He made it seem like Torrin just came in there and ignoring him and didn't even tell him who the hell he was. Like, I'm like, what the fuck you talking about, Phil? But anyway, Phil? But anyway, they continue to get into the conversation, and Philip was going to go on. He was like, wait 1 second before you continue. So I've give you the rundown on who I am and what I do, but you have yet to do so. And Philip, here he goes again, being a tight ass. He's like, I'm not about to go through my work experience with you because I'm not applying for a job. And it's like, bitch, here you go you just saying shit. Like, he's just trying to have a conversation with you and get to know you as a manager. Like, I've asked my managers that same question. What did you do before you started working here? Were you always a manager? What positions were you? What made you come to this job? Stuff like that. And he's just like, oh, I'm not applying for a job. So I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that like, if you want to talk about things that literally has nothing to do with nothing, like, you just sound like an asshole. You just try to make it seem like, oh, I'm here, you're there, and I don't have to discuss that with you. Nobody's forcing you to discuss nothing. Nobody even came off like that. All he did was ask what you did for conversation's sake. But, it was too much for that bitch. But Torrin let him know. He retorted, okay, a sharp retort. I'm not applying for a job either. He already got the job. And you can see Philip was like, okay, this ain't he's not getting it. No, you're not getting it, but he's gonna make you get it. So, um, Torin kind of pressed him again. He's like, you still have yet to tell me who you are, what you've done, and I think for a good work management. And then he cuts him off with this bogus ass comment, which was similar to the comment that he made last episode. Like, oh, nobody's paying you to think about what you think the organization should be. And Torin's like, nobody's paying me to think. And he was like, you are an event manager, so you need to stay. You think about playing events, so stay in the lane. Woo! Like, I can't stay in my lane. Stay in. See, here's the thing with bitches like Philip. They think they can just be this hard ass authoritative figure in a workplace and expect people to want to work with them. Like, you would be the type of bitch where, and like I said, this is just a restaurant job. They're probably going to get a nice little check from being a show now, but this is just a restaurant job. People can be like, fuck this, I'm going to go work at another restaurant. And they're going to tell above you, everybody else, yeah, I didn't like working for that bitch because he's a fucking asshole. People are going to come in and work with that same asshole and see what they're talking about. But like, you know what? I'm gone too. Fuck this bitch. If he got it like that, he should be able to do it all himself. That's the type of bitch he is. Like, you get bees with honey. So all this, I don't have to talk about that. Stay focused. Like, pretty much acting like you have a personality. You don't have a personality. Acting like you're not a person at all. Like you're a fucking robot and expect everybody else to be robots. Is fucking unrealistic and it's bogus as fuck. And like I said, nobody's gonna want to work with you. Nobody's gonna want to work for you. Nobody's gonna want to work. Nobody's going to want to show up for you in any regard. Nobody's going to go above and beyond. Nobody's going to do the most for you at all. People are going to do the bare minimum and go the fuck home. And you're going to be pissed like, what is with these people? No, bitch, what the fuck is up with you? And another thing about that bitch, Philip, is that when I watched the first episode, I don't even think he has an extensive repertoire in restaurant business anyway. All I've heard was that he worked at Blaze. Don't really know where he came from prior to Blaze. And Kandi saying how well he was over at Blaze, so she wanted him to come do that over at OLG. Even when I seen when he was at Blaze telling them pause, oh, you don't know what pause means? You know what knockout means? I can show you. I can be very demonstrative with the word knockout. I can do that. Most definitely. Since you want to ask me what the fuck, I know what a goddamn elementary ass word means. I learned that playing video games, what pause meant before I even went to school. But anyway, I went off on a tangent. So Torin's like, he's like, nobody's paying me to think. And he's like, I also bring in money. I bring in money in this motherfucker with my events. And then he let Philip know so fucking smooth. He said, I'm back. And that's through Kandi. That's through Kandi's mouth. And you can take that up with her. End of the scene. And Philip's just looking over there, looking at the floor, looking stupid. Because it's like, bitch, even if he was applying for a job, he got the job with the CEOs, not you. And what bothered me about the comment that he made with Chandrika last episode, where he's like, "Oh, I don't get paid to go back and forth with hourly employees. I employ." You didn't employ nobody in this building. These people were already employed when you showed up. So what the fuck are you talking about? It's like a bitch who just like. He probably got little dick syndrome, or he probably not even a top in his relationship. He's probably in the bottom because he does. He probably has a micro penis under there, and he fucking tries to compensate for it at work. But your affliction is nobody's responsibility. Okay, that ain't nobody's fault but your daddy's. Okay, but this was a great episode of Old Lady Gang. Like I said, I do like everybody. I even like Philip's character. He's just gonna be the one of those characters that you just. I don't even want to say I love to hate, because it's not like I want to hate people on shows, but I like what he brings to the show, because every show needs a villain, every show needs an antagonist, and he does do that well. I watched his speak on it with Kandi, and that seems very much so his personality. It doesn't seem like that's just something he's just turning on for the show. But it was good. I'm about to be at 30 minutes, so I'm about to upload this video right now. And I will see y'all in my either Bel Air review or my Snowfall review. So make sure y'all are looking out for that.